Brian Mudd Show is on News Radio 610 WIOD.
Speaking of being productive, well, we are being pretty productive, working from home, as it turns out. Joining us to talk about this is Lawrence King. He is the CEO of Headstorm and the website headstorm.com. Lawrence, I thought this was pretty telling, pretty interesting. New study that showing that actually productivity has increased with people that have worked at home in the aggregate by about 5%. Thank you for taking the time with us. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's interesting. Lots of studies are coming out right now suggesting that employees are more productive. But also interestingly, in 2013, there was another study conducted, published by Harvard. And what they had done is taken a group of employees, about 1,000 of them, and had them work from home. And they experienced a 13% increase in performance. They then made that program available to all 16,000 employees, half of which took the opportunity, and they saw a 22% sustained performance increase. So it's not something that is new. I think we've known about it all along. I think COVID, forced this way of working, and it just has validated what our assumptions have been all along.
Well, I like to use my wife as an example because I understand her dynamic, and I hear from her, on a regular basis about how her life has changed. She is someone who would work from home when she was at home, but she traveled for work, and commonly a few days every week she would be out and about. And what she observed is the first thing, not having to, commute, not having to fly, not having to meet with people that way. The amount of extra time that she has just to be able to focus on work has necessarily made her more productive. And Lawrence, even for people who aren't business travelers, I would imagine that would be true, simply not having to drive to and from work.
That's right. There's about, depending on your commute time, but you can imagine that there's probably an hour or 2 hour of savings when you think about going in and then coming home from work. There's flexibility benefits, improved work-life balance. In the day of COVID, people are feeling safer. I think a lot of folks are being able to acquire new career-related skills while they're at home. That extra hour or two is allowing them to upskill and reskill, which is also valuable for them.
Lawrence, obviously not everybody works equitably, and not every environment is suited for every person. You have people that are self-starters that naturally would benefit from having more time to focus on their work. You have other people that might need greater oversight, more supervision. Is it important for people to kind of realize who they are, realize who we are, and what might make the most sense for us?
Yeah, I think the big thing is when employers really start to embark on whether or not to have a remote policy, I think it needs to be backed by their data. Some employers are in an industry that doesn't lend itself to remote work, and that's fine. For other industries that have more professionals, consulting firms, and that type of thing, I think that they do need to consider it. But I also think that when they consider it, they should do it on a case-by-case basis rather than creating a broad policy of, hey, we're going to have 2 days at home, 3 days at the office. I think that they need to really kind of do it on a case-by-case basis for each employee, because many employees, junior employees, they need that apprenticeship and mentorship in order to be productive, and they lose out on that. And so having an individually tailored policy allows you to give remote options where they can be used responsibly, and then also require some of the younger folks to come in where needed.
I saw a study recently where a majority of employees that have been working remotely, they used to work in an office, want to stay that way now. And actually 30% that said if the time comes where their employer tries to make them go back to the office, they'll quit. They'll work somewhere else. Do you think that it is that big of a catalyst, or people just saying that?
No, I think that's a catalyst. I think for those companies that have got a lot of employees that perhaps have tribal knowledge, that don't have a lot of their processes well documented, and the value of them staying with the company is critical. They need to accommodate some of those work from home desires. I also think that if it's a company that's growing, if they want to be competitive in the space, they're going to have to, offer some form of flexibility around remote working, or it's just going to be a challenge for them to hire new people.
Lawrence King. Website is headstorm.com. Headstorm.com. Thanks, Lawrence. Appreciate the time and the info.
You got it. Thanks.